What's up, guys? Neil Orfield here, taking a look at DraftKings Reignmakers for the Week 10 main slate. While you're coming in, please like the video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already done so, and hit that notification button so you can get alerts when our shows go live. Of course, if you're not already signed up for Reignmakers, if you use the link in the description of this video, when you sign up for Reignmakers, you're going to get a free starter pack. So that'll be 5 cards. It'll be all the cards you need to play in core contests on Reignmakers. So that's free. When you sign up and you don't know what you're going to get, you could get crap, you could get awesome cards. Part of the fun of opening packs is not really knowing what you're going to get. You could win the lotto and get something awesome. So check it out if you haven't already done so. Use that link in the description of this video. And I'm just going to show you some of the top plays this week. And because Reignmakers uses the same scoring as regular DraftKings contests, you can just use the stochastic projections to identify some of the best plays on the slate. I'm looking at some of the best value plays here as well. So just looking at, we'll start with quarterback top plays on the slate. And it's much better than last week when I believe we only had 2 quarterbacks projected north of 20 fantasy points last week. And I think we topped out around 22. This week, we've got some great projected quarterbacks. So really, really strong options this week on Reignmakers, starting with Dak Prescott, Joe Burrow, Jared Goff. Great matchups for all of them. We have Dak Prescott facing the Giants. That's a great spot here. Joe Burrow gets the Texans defense. And then Jared Goff gets the Chargers. So 3 really strong there, but all 3 of those are a little bit more expensive. I think up to like $10 or so. Jared Goff maybe is like $7 or $8. I think that Geno Smith looks like the strongest value. So obviously, if you have the money, if you want to spend a little bit more, you can play Prescott, Burrow, Jared Goff, all really strong options. But if you're looking to save a little bit of money, I really like the price tag here on Geno Smith. Cheapest cards here for just $4. Geno Smith, great matchup against the Commanders defense that has just been crushed all year by opposing passing attack. So I really like Geno Smith as a great value option. He would be this week's. We're hoping for CJ Stroud. That was worked out really well if you bought that CJ Stroud rookie card last week. Of course, if you followed all of my advice, you probably played him with Nico Collins. So didn't actually get the perfect pairing with CJ Stroud stacks last week, but probably got pretty close. If you played the CJ Stroud double stack as recommended, you at least got Tank Dell in there. That would have worked out pretty well. And if you paired him with Dalton Schultz as well, instead of playing Nico Collins, you were in a good spot last week. Hopefully we can do the same thing this week with Geno Smith. Pair him with, I don't know if I want to pair him with both. It's a little bit different. I don't know if I want both Lockett and Metcalf. They don't usually go off in the same games against this Commanders defense, so I think it's as likely as ever that you get big games from both of them. So Geno Smith with 2 out of Lockett, Metcalf, JSN might actually work out this week. We'll take a look at those prices as well. But I think Geno Smith probably the best value quarterback this week. But when if you want to pay out for Dak, Burrow, Goff, I think that makes a lot of sense as well. All right, let's take a look at some running backs as well. And this week, honestly, I think it's ugly. It's ugly at running back. But I did notice that Tony Pollard, our second projected running back here, is actually pretty inexpensive. McCaffrey is going to be a little bit more money. You got to pay up for a player like McCaffrey, but Tony Pollard is relatively, you can see here, $40 for this one. I'm sure there are some cheaper McCaffrey cards, but not really value there for McCaffrey. You can pay up. He's got a not in a great spot, but McCaffrey can play any week. But Pollard, I actually looked at it earlier, and Pollard was looking pretty inexpensive for the matchup here. Yeah, just $5 for Pollard. You can pair him with Dak Prescott. He is involved in the passing game, or you can include him if you want to play that Geno stack. Pollard just makes sense in a vacuum as well for $5. Really great value there on Pollard. And then I believe Eckler, Kamara, both a little bit more expensive, but then Joe Mixon also looked like a pretty solid value, as I recall. So let's take a look at Joe Mixon's prices here. Yeah, Joe Mixon, you can get it for as little as $3.50 right now. So great spot against the Texans. Makes a lot of sense. I think I prefer Mixon in my non-Burrow stacks personally, but you can, if you want to include him in your Burrow stacks, that could work as well. Certainly the entire offense could go off against the Texans this week. So Pollard, Mixon look like really strong running back values, but if you want to play McCaffrey, Eckler, Kamara, they all make a lot of sense as well. Wide receivers, obviously, you're stacking with your quarterbacks in general. So if you're playing Dak Prescott, CeeDee Lamb is going to make the most sense. If you're playing Jared Goff, Amon-Ra St. Brown is going to make the most sense. I want to take a look at the prices, though, for DK Metcalf and Tyler Lockett. 2 of our, top, I don't know, what is this, top 10 or so projected wide receivers on the slate. Just a great spot against the Commanders and typically going to be a little bit less expensive. Maybe McLaurin makes some sense as a bring back as well in those Geno stacks. So let's take a look at some wide receivers here. So Tyler Lockett to start. Yeah, you can get Tyler Lockett for as little as $1.50. That is a fantastic value stack this week. Just playing those Seahawks stacks against that Commanders defense makes a lot of sense. Let's take a look at DK as well. Metcalf for around $250 minimum price. Another great price there. Maybe let's throw them Jackson Smith and Jigba in there as well. JSN you can get for under $1 here, and that's a rookie card for JSN. So another little added bonus there. Can certainly include JSN in those stacks if you want to. And then finally, let's take a look at Terry McLaurin as well for the bring back there. So you can do a full-on game stack if you want to, little as $250 for Terry McLaurin. So I think it makes a lot of sense to play that Geno Smith with Lockett and or Metcalf and or JSN, and then throw Terry McLaurin as the bring back. Use your Pollard or your Mixon at running back. You can make a really nice lineup just stacking up that game and then going with a one-off at running back. But a lot of different ways to go here. I like to use the stochastic projections to find some of the best plays on the site. And of course, if you want to pay up, you can include some wide receivers that are not stacked. Obviously, CeeDee Lamb, Amon-Ra St. Brown look great here in these spots. We've seen wide receivers go off against the Titans pretty frequently. So Mike Evans makes some sense. Chris Godwin makes some sense. A lot of different ways to go this week. But I think my favorite, just as if you're trying to go really inexpensive here, love that Seahawks stack with Geno Smith and one of those three, or maybe two of those three receivers, and then you can play McLaurin and then bring back. I think that makes a ton of sense this week. They're looking really inexpensive on Reignmakers. So that would be probably the way I go if I want to be making a lineup for under like $15 or so. It's pretty easy to do on this slate. All right, that's going to do it. Thanks for watching, guys. Hit that like button if you haven't already done so. And remember, if you want to sign up, if you haven't already done so, the link is in the description of this video. You can get your free starter pack to get started here. Thanks for watching. Good luck this weekend.